How do you relaunch an expired domain name using Automattic? It couldn't be simpler. In this video, I'm going to show you a trick for recovering the old queries and content that you could find on the old domain and how to easily re-upload them using Automattic. So the first step is to add the domain to Google Search Console so you can retrieve the old metrics, the old pages, and the old queries. So here, for example, we have a domain name where right away, there you go, we have various queries that were indexed, and here various pages. So what's going to interest us in this case is recovering simply the URLs and therefore the pages. So to do that, I'll go directly into Search Console and click on Pages. There we go. And so here I've got the list of all the pages. You should sort them if possible by clicks or by impressions, depending on the results you have. Here it's sorted by clicks. Once that's done, we're going to click on Export and we'll export all of the results that we have here directly to a Google Sheet. So here we are looking at the Google Sheet. So here you have the queries, you have tabs, you have the Pages tab. So again, what we're interested in here are the pages. So here, for this example, I'm going to grab a few URLs so that we can regenerate content that's obviously equivalent to the old original content in Automattic. So here, obviously, we're going to use the bulk version, of course, so that we can generate all the pages. Then why not publish them on autopilot if you don't want to publish? If you have, for example, 500 pages and you want to do, say, 2 or 3 per day by scheduling them, that's totally possible. So we're going to use the article scheduler. Here, I'm going to select keywords. Now, not URLs. Why? Because the URLs option is simply for generating content based on data from existing URLs. In this case, our domain is no longer active since we've just, for example, bought it. So we no longer have the content available. So we're going to use keywords here. For this example, I'm going to ask for articles. So obviously we have a list of URLs. So how are we going to do this? Quite simply, we're going to select add a list of keywords. Now that might seem weird since we're talking about keywords when we have URLs, but that's not really an issue. Okay, here we can add, so this is a feature that basically lets you add a list of keywords in order to turn them into titles. So here, I'm just going to paste, there we go, my old URLs. And in the custom instructions, I'm going to add a prompt that asks it to remove the domain name, the hyphens, and the slashes. There you go. This is to clean up the URLs that I just put in place of the keywords. So we can try to regenerate titles that are more or less equivalent to what we had. Because here, obviously, we had URLs that actually contained the titles directly. It was clearly an old WordPress site, the article titles. This will, in fact, allow us to generate titles that were equivalent to what we had before on the old domain. So I'm going to leave the generation style as informative. So I've asked it to remove the domain name, the hyphens, and the slashes. And here I'm going to click Generate. So here we end up with a generation of titles. So we're in a slightly advanced version of Automattic, of course. And so what actually happened? Well, quite simply, we've taken, for example, if I take the first example, tips for bypassing a gate sensor in Nice. We've simply made an equivalent article, an equivalent title on which the content will be generated, which will actually allow us to recover that old query and to rank, if that's already the case in Google, to get the traffic back. So quite simply, here I have my titles. So after that, you just need to come and generate your content. So here, you obviously come and set the AI model you want to work with, the text model, etc. You have all the options, etc., etc. The idea with your permalinks is to try to keep the title as much as possible, of course, and to avoid things like p equals with numbers, which we obviously advise against. Here, we're going to end up with variations of the titles. It's possible that as a result, we won't have the exact same URL, of course, due to the fact that there might have been beforehand, like here, for example, we had a job blog, the permalink. So the URL was configured to put the name of the URL directly, the name of the category, sorry, directly in the URL, which causes a problem for us since we're not going to end up with the exact same URLs. To do this, there's a very simple trick. You have a WordPress plugin called WP404 Auto Redirect to Similar Post. What does that do? Well, quite simply, when you have an old index page, when the user clicks on that query or on that page, they will automatically be redirected to similar content. So in this case, given how we've configured our content, we're going to get extremely close to the old content we had before, and we're simply going to do a 301 redirect from the old content, from the old URL, in any case, to the new URL, which in turn has equivalent content. So there you have it. It's a relatively simple trick that will allow you, with Automattic, to regenerate old URLs with much fresher content, and using the plugin to be able to simply 301 redirect the old URLs to the new URLs that you've just generated. I hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you soon for the next one. Bye.